And welcome to Legally Invested. This is episode 4 of our show. And today we're going to talk about what are the 5 steps to staying protected and profitable. And why are you here, really? What is the Legally Invested podcast? We can back up and talk about that very quickly. The big why that we answer on this show is how can any entrepreneur, talent, business of any size use intellectual property to stay protected and profitable, invest in themselves, and also create wealth? We're going to also share the success secrets of many business owners who have harnessed the power of IP to actually create wealth and build the life of their dreams. So today's topic is the 5 steps to staying protected and profitable. This is a method that I've created intentionally for clients to be preventative, to save money, to get all of the foundations up front to protect themselves. So the first step is really doing an IP audit and an IP roadmap. It's number 1. It's where we will look at all of your digital assets, any physical assets too, but really take a look at your business and pull to see what trademarks you own, what copyrights you own. And then we pull together a contract checklist to see which contracts you have or you don't have. So we do a full audit of the business and see what intellectual property is there. That's why it's called the IP audit. And then we have a 30-minute call to discuss and walk through. And here's why this step is critical, and many lawyers don't do this, which I encourage you all. I encourage any lawyer to do this as a step. It's because without that initial advice and that road mapping and planning, it's up to the business owner to come to the lawyer and tell them what to do. So that's the equivalent of showing up to the doctor's office and being, "Doc, here's what's wrong with me. I need X prescription." There really is no sort of advice going on when you're doing that. So definitely the IP audit and the IP road mapping is the first step to be able to figure out what's your most important intellectual property, what should be filed immediately, and then what can we maybe protect later down the road. So that's step 1, is doing that IP audit and the IP roadmap. The second step is actually to start filing for some of these things. So step 2 is filing for your trademark. The most important trademark is typically your main brand. So file your trademark application for that. And then when you have your IP roadmap, we're going to figure out what's the next important and the next. So then as you grow and as you can continue to budget for these things, you're going to build up an IP portfolio and a trademark portfolio. The third step is protecting your copyright with a copyright filing. So copyright registrations are critical in the United States. They are required to get into court. If you want to enforce your rights against a third party without having a certificate of registration for a copyright, it's the equivalent of waving an empty gun. It's really, it's not powerful. It's difficult, and you're going to have to assert your rights, and it'll be a challenge. So get those copyrights on file. And what do I mean by your copyright? I mean your most important content, whether if you're a talent, maybe it's some of your photos. If you are a course creator, it's your courses, it's your methods, your frameworks, all of these things we can figure out how to actually protect. But strategically, if you're not sure, talk to an IP lawyer and we can figure out what umbrella under IP law your assets can be protected with. And then the fourth step is the contract piece. So anytime you are giving your intellectual property to someone or giving permission or giving them access to it, you absolutely need a contract to protect yourself. So there's a variety of different contracts. If you're hiring people, you're going to want either an independent contractor agreement or an employment agreement, depending on the relationship, and always have an IP lawyer draft the independent consultant agreement. But for employment agreements, those are state law based. Have an employment lawyer draft them and then have an IP lawyer look at them. Very important. But when you are hiring people, you should have a document in place. And then when you are being hired, like you're selling your course, you are getting paid for something that you've created, that's when you absolutely need a client contract. That's that fourth piece. Those are just two examples of contracts. This is not in depth. Then the fifth piece, the fifth step, is the ongoing support. This is huge. This is where most clients will go to a trademark lawyer and say, file this trademark. They file it. You don't hear back for months. The problem with that is that I'm not able to see what you're doing. I'm not able to review all of your content and catch IP mistakes. I'm really relying on the client to tell me what IP problems they're having. And when in that scenario, what happens, of course, is businesses and entrepreneurs don't know the IP problems until it literally becomes a problem. So by having a lawyer, I set up monthly calls with my clients as part of this program where we look at the business. We have a 30-minute call to see what's going on. If there's any contracts they want me to look at, we'll do it during the call, very high level. And then we can do in-depth review after. But the point is just to catch issues early and to ask the business what's going on, who are you working with? Oh, you need a contract for that. This has been really critical to keeping businesses out of litigation and staying protected and profitable, basically. So that's my 5-step method to staying protected and profitable, very high level. If you want to learn more, click in the link in my bio. I'm happy to chat. And I hope everyone has an awesome rest of your day.